Hey superstars, it's Glam and a T. Welcome to day 3 of Vlogmas, and today's video is about brushes and brush care. It is very important for us to take care of our investments. Even if you just buy one brush here and there, it is important to take care of them. And even if you get drugstore, like I was talking about yesterday, the Wet n Wild brushes, brush care will make them last for a long time. And I'm going to explain that and actually talk about some of the brushes and kind of their purposes and their use. The reason why I'm talking about this so much is I'm going to show you this brush here. It is my MAC 252 brush. I have had this for almost 15 years. It's kind of reaching its end. Some of the bristles are now starting to break down, but I've had this for a very long time, and because I've taken such good care of it is why I've had it for such a long time. So this is a shadow brush. You can use it to pack shadow onto the lid, pack into the inner corner or up underneath the brow. This is just your standard flat bristled shadow brush. I covered my face, I'm sorry. So this is just one of the many that I'm going to talk about, but the other thing I'm going to talk about is the products that I use to clean my brushes kind of instantly after I'm done with makeup, and then how I care for them at least once a week. And the first one I'm going to talk about, so you'll see the Girl Keep It Clean, and then I have the Sonia Kashuk brush and sponge cleanser. This is just a spray you put on a paper towel and kind of get the colors off. And then weekly I use the Morphe Eucalyptus Keep It Clean. Comes with, and you can see some of the colors that are on there that don't come out with just the simple brush cleaner. The way I can relate this is like dry shampoo, and this is like regular shampoo. It does come with kind of a little silicone pad that you can work and get deep into those brush bristles to get those like the liquid powders or the liquid foundations, everything that kind of get packed into the brushes, and get those out. So as I clean some brushes, I'm going to be talking about kind of their uses and some of my favorite ones. Now, if you are just getting into makeup and you're looking for kind of that starter piece to get yourself, like I said in yesterday's video, Wet n Wild at the Dollar Tree, they're $1. You can't go wrong with them. If you clean them just like any other brushes, they will last. The one thing I do want to recommend when you're using any cleansers, so not the spray cleansers, but any of like a soap-based cleanser, don't use scalding hot water. That releases the glue that holds the bristles in. And even though some of them are pressure fit inside there or just packed in, the glue can get loose. And then I'll talk about how you store your brushes and everything after they're cleaned. So let's get started with, I like to do my shadow brushes first. It's kind of a weird thing of mine that I have, just because everything that you use can get so dirty, and you want to try and get as much of that color out as possible. So this is a Farrah brush, 65 EM mint shading brush that came in an Ipsy bag. These Farrah brushes are actually pretty nice. I had gotten, my mom had given me this one. She got in an Ipsy bag, and this is the 35E. This can be used for highlighter or for loose powders. So the way I like to explain brushes is kind of a twofold way. One, the more dense the bristles are in the shape, the more of a firm packing that you're going to get. The looser the bristles are, and you can see the dust maybe coming off, the more blending you can do with them. So the looser the bristles are, the more blending and more coverage you'll get with it. So what I'm doing, just to remove any of the color, and I do believe I used a blue shadow, like a teal shadow with this. So I just spritz some of the brush cleaner, oh I could talk, brush cleaner on here, and just work it in circular motions. Another reason why I like this, I'm saying a lot again lately, sorry. And then I like to just kind of work on my technique with brush moving too. So anything with more of the dense bristles, you're going to want to do a packing motion to really lay those colors on. And then any of the looser ones, that's where you can work on your circular blending. You can blend up with your products, blend down, or blend in windshield washer motions. Now, I do have a video, Titan, stop. I do have a video coming where I'm going to be talking about shadow blending and how to get that to work out the best for you. And I'm actually going to do it with purple shadows. Purple shadows, Titan, stop. Purple shadows are one of the hardest ones to formulate and one of the hardest ones to blend, in my opinion, just because the pigment sometimes doesn't always translate through the formulation. So again, this is one of the, you could use this for a couple things. You could use it to pack product into the crease and then do the windshield washer motion back and forth to get a defined crease area. Or you can go even fluffier. This is my Real Techniques Dome Shadow Brush. You'll see it has a little bit of a curvature to it. The thing with this one is I use this to do my red makeup. And this was last week that I did it. So I really wanted to show you how good it is at removing some of the product from the brush. But it's not the best. This I wouldn't consider clean. This is just a start to the cleansing. So this one will later on get a deep clean in the Morphe brush cleaning balm. You can use a brush cleansing balm too. I wouldn't recommend the scrubber that comes in there, the silicone, but you can use that to clean your sponges. So what you do is you just get it damp again, kind of roll it in there, knead it into it, and then rinse it out. Again, don't use super scalding water on this either. I found that it does break down the sponges quite a bit quicker. There we go. Quite quickly. That's what was coming in my head. Anyways, so this is an even better, like I said earlier, the fluffier the bristles on the brush, the more blending you can get with it. It's not to say that you couldn't use this as a single, I'm just going to put one shade of shadow on. Totally works. Especially if you want those shadows to be kind of light toned. You can even get it to work with like black shadows, but black shadows are so pigmented. If you're wanting that black to show through without it turning like a taupey gray color, you really want to pack that in with those firmer bristle brushes. So again, like I said, this one isn't clean, but moving on. I'm gonna get, I had, and I don't know where they made it to, I did have makeup cleansing wipes for your brushes, and they're great for, excuse me, kind of a daily use in between, or not a daily use, but if you're doing makeup applications in between from one person to the next, if you're doing it more on a professional level, but it doesn't sanitize them. So I always have that rubbing alcohol with me. I spritz that on to a paper towel and kind of cleanse the brush, sanitize the brush in between uses, kind of using the same back and forth motion, circular motion in the rubbing alcohol. So again, this is another, this one's BBL. I think this came off of Amazon. It's a $10 set. You get like 25 brushes with it. They're not terrible. And honestly, brushes are what you pay for. If you're gonna get a $1 shadow brush, expect it to perform like a $1 shadow brush. If you're gonna spend, 15 to 20 on a shadow brush, expect it to work like a $15 or $20 shadow brush. There are brushes you can get, brush sets you can get at TJ Maxx. Real Techniques is there, Eco Tools is there. I've seen Sony Kashik there. Kat Von D brushes have come from there, and I've even gotten some Japanesque and I think a Smashbox one as well. So they do have some of the higher end brushes that you can get. This is just a shadow brush in case you're wondering. You can get some of those higher end brushes there for a fraction of the cost, and I highly recommend it. A brand that has been really impressing me is Morphe. So I have a few Morphe brushes. I think I have like 3 or 4 of them. These are my most used 2 that I have. This first one is my M165. It's my angled brush that I use for doing my brows. And then the M124 brush that I use for really packing color underneath the brow and in the inner corner. I just like the bristles of this. Again, it's kind of that flatter, denser bristle. But Morphe is killing it. Their brush prices are very, very reasonable. I think their cheapest one is like $3 and their most expensive one is $20. But you can get kits. I know that they had a Black Friday for the Love of Eyes or something like that for 19 bucks, normally 39. Definitely worth it. I haven't tried any of the influencer collab brushes. I know that James Charles has one, Jaclyn Hill has one, and Jeffree Star has one. I haven't tried any of those yet, but I heard they're pretty good. One of these days I will try them. I'm not going to tell you which ones I'm not going to use, but if you know me well enough, you'll know. So this one, again, this one's really good because it's so densely packed. It's got that angle. It works really good for drawing individual hairs, but it also works just for kind of creating and carving out that brow edge line that I use. Do you guys want to see a different brow video with using different brow products such as powders, waxes or pomades and pencils? I can show you. I know I showed kind of quick, easy, simple brows, but I can definitely show you another way. Rather than continuing to go on and clean brushes and talk to you guys about more shadow brushes, I am going to move more into like my highlighter, my bronzing brush, and my foundation. Well, the foundation ones you saw yesterday, but cleaning them is no different. Getting a lot of that dust off in between uses is really good. I also have this. It's called Clean Sweep. I know Japanesque has one. I know Morphe has one in their store. It's really good if you're working with a lot of eyeshadow colors to use that in between. So you just take it like you would any of your brushes that you're using and dust it off. I do recommend rinsing this out at least once a week when you're cleaning your brushes, just because there's so much product that can fall into that can. And don't go into that so super hard because you can damage the bristles of the brushes. So again, this brush here I use more for my highlighting on my cheekbones. I am going to do a highlighting and contouring video that will be coming soon as well. Stay tuned. There's a lot of fun ones. I don't want to give them all away to you guys, but there's some good ones coming. And then it's no different cleaning any brush with this brush cleaner. But the thing I want to talk about is once you wash them, how you store them. So because there is glue in here and then there's also glue here, lay your brushes flat to dry. Something that I picked up when I was working at Clinique quite a few years ago is after you clean it with your soap and water, take it upside down and kind of shake it back and forth like this. It helps kind of spray the water out and then just lay it flat to dry if you don't have a way to hang it upside down to dry. Any of that water, any of that soap product can get in there and dissolve the glue. And I'll show you. Cheaper made brushes, they do come apart. So this is, you can kind of see the remnants of the glue and everything. This one actually had broken because it got stepped on by a certain doggo. But it would have held on quite a bit of time. So just be sure that when you're using any of your brushes to clean them, it's no different than cleaning your skin, cleaning your clothing. And it also helps minimize breakouts, because I know that I used a different foundation method yesterday with using my fingers and everything. My skin is kind of dry right now, and it's because I over sanitized my hands and dried everything out putting that product on. So, but brushes can harbor bacteria, can harbor dirty. It's the product that you use and you put it on your skin and then you're gonna let it sit kind of damp. Just clean them. Clean them as often as you can. It's better to be safe than sorry. So I know that there's a couple different brush cleaners. I know Cinema Secrets has a really good one. I think it's at Sephora. That one's really good. That one's actually a little bit better for the quick in-betweens. And then, like I said, I just do this every night after I'm done using my brushes to take off some of the residue in case I pick up that brush. I think you guys saw in another video, I picked up one that somehow got past everything that I had. And, oh yeah, it was my fail video. It put shadow on my skin, and that's not the shadow that I was going for. So it's just one of those processes. Just get in the habit of cleaning your brushes after you're done using it. I know it can be a lot of work to sit down and do your makeup, then it can be a lot of work to clean your brushes afterwards, but it's good for your skin's care, and it's also to help protect your investments. Elf has some really good inexpensive brushes. I know I've used quite a few of those. Honestly, get them, try them. Before you invest in more money on a brush, get a brush, get used to how it works on your skin, get used to your angles on how you're holding the brushes before you start investing more and more money. One of my most expensive brushes, and I actually got it for half price, is my IT Cosmetics. This is the Superstar Flawless Foundation. It's a star shaped. I used it once. I've used it once since I've had it, and I've had it for about 6 months. And I just used it yesterday. So the shape of it really isn't conductive, but I'm superstars. I like stars. It's a vanity piece more than anything. So if you're going to get brushes, get used to how they work before you invest a ton of money. I know that IT Cosmetics has some really good brushes. And then another thing you could do is you can always try like Ipsy, Influencer, I can't think of the other one. BoxyCharm. They all do have a brush option that sometimes happens when you're doing the orders with them. So just try things out. I have babbled enough. I can answer more specific questions if you just message me and ask me questions about brushes and brush care and what brushes I think are the best. I can also recommend my favorite brushes to you guys. Like I said, I think it's time for my MAC 252 to kind of make its happy home in a vanity piece for me. It's definitely served its purpose, but it's hard to let go of a good brush. Just like it's hard to let go of a lot of good things that we have in our life. So I just want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 4. Bye.